It's a really exciting time in laptops right now with so many options for people who want enough power to work with enough power to make it comfortably through the work day. It feels like we're achieving a balance of the two in the PC space thanks to some new chip developments. One such chip manufacturer making those strides is Qualcomm with their growing lineup of Snapdragon notebook processors, but laptops with the higher-end Snapdragon X Elite chips tended to come with a higher price point to match. Enter ASUS, masters of the minimalistic but highly capable notebook, to bring the power and efficiency of the Snapdragon to more of the masses due to a lower barrier of entry. And the best part, it doesn't feel like you're really sacrificing anything at all. So let's power up what might be one of the most freeing laptops I've used in recent memory, one that quite literally feels like a breeze, both inside and out. Hey, it's Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? This right here is the brand new and sleek ASUS Zenbook A14. A big thanks to ASUS for letting me get a super early crack at one of the newest yet lightest additions to the Zenbook line ahead of the laptop's unveiling at CES. And also, thanks to ASUS for sponsoring this video. Look forward to more about ASUS's announcements in the coming days, and stay tuned for more live from the show floor at CES where I am at the time of this video's release. You see, the thing is, I've been able to enjoy the Zenbook lineup much more closely this past year, seeing ASUS bring some real design prowess to their most recent releases, and it all centered around a unique material that now defines the entire lineup: Ceraluminum. For this Zenbook A14, it is a surface treatment that goes across the entire chassis that is otherwise crafted from a light magnesium alloy. The alloy allows the laptop to fall under 1 kilogram in weight, making it seriously one of the nimblest laptops around. It feels like a feather when lifted up, but then the Ceraluminum makes this notebook feel way more premium than you might expect from the price point. The surface, especially on the lid, gains resistance from scratches and smudges with a bit more added durability given that the whole body is also mil-spec standard. This is a Zenbook at the end of the day, however, so there isn't too much else by way of the actual design details. Minimalism is implied in the name after all, so all you get on the top of the Ceraluminum is the simple ASUS Zenbook logo on the lid. You can get this laptop in a couple of different colorways, but their names imply even more minimalistic influences. The color I have here is called Iceland Gray, and then you can get the Zabriskie Beige, inspired by the landscapes of a certain area in Death Valley that bears a similar name. I was able to pull up those lovely vistas of Zabriskie Point by using Copilot, as this is a Copilot Plus PC that comes complete with a brand new key right on the spacebar. More on the AI in a little bit, but I'm sure you're very familiar with the new AI capabilities after hearing about them so much in the recent months. But that is what makes this minimalist and light laptop so interesting, because it is able to bring all of that AI processing to a sleek body without asking too much more of the wallet. Clearly, ASUS is not holding back here, managing to put all of this in a more affordable notebook. Even the keyboard feels just as good as previous, more expensive Zenbooks, with the touchpad filling the rest of the space on the deck, and including somewhat hidden swipe gestures that come in handy for volume and even media scrubbing control. Speaking of media, ASUS continues putting OLED in basically everything, a familiar but super welcome trope that has become really common across the company's line of notebooks. 14-inch size displays are my preference for maximum portability, but ASUS has really found a sweet spot with their OLEDs even at this size, as everything from YouTube videos to movies looks great on here. Bear in mind that the Snapdragon X Elite version of this laptop has the full HD OLED panel, while the lower tier model will not be OLED. Unfortunately, there is just one place where this smaller size and perhaps the cost saving is apparent, and that is in the sound. Despite the speakers down here being tuned with Snapdragon sound and Dolby in mind, it's hard to achieve super rich sound in a small and lightweight body like this usually. Headphones are probably going to be the way to go, but at least the Snapdragon sound-tuned codecs would give the Bluetooth audio experiences a nice boost with aptX. ASUS also brings their AI-powered sound treatments, including noise cancellation for both input and output. Which finally brings us to the crux of all of this, the engine that makes all of this hardware that ASUS managed to pack into this small chassis tick. You see, up until now, the Snapdragon CPUs have been bringing some really impressive performance to the mobile PC market with a big priority on battery life. That continues here, but in a few different flavors that managed to reach lower price points within the Zenbook A14. Now, for my particular unit, the Snapdragon X Elite does make this a more premium edition of the A14, backed by 32GB of RAM and 1TB of storage, which should be plenty for most productivity and even a little bit of fun sprinkled among the script writing and the light video editing. But there is going to be another version of this Zenbook A14 depending on the region that sports the more base model Snapdragon X processor, and that is one that gets even closer to reaching the ideals of Zen that is implied in the name. As a CPU that requires less power, 28 versus the 45 of my Snapdragon X Elite model, the cooling system and the battery also shrink down a bit accordingly in that model, leading to an even lighter laptop at 899 grams. That is compared to the more robust cooling and the 70 watt-hour battery in my unit, but this thing still manages to stay under 1 kilogram overall. No matter which model you go for, though, you're still in for a really nimble and travel-friendly setup, one that certainly goes the distance when a plug is far away. Now, while I may not have had this Zenbook A14 in my daily rotation for too long, I have actually only had to charge it up like a couple of times since I first received it, because the Snapdragon X Elite sips on the 70 watt-hour battery when I'm simply getting things done like writing the very script you're hearing right now. To be fair, I am someone that multitasks, and by that I mean playing podcasts or YouTube videos in the background, which does fire up the graphics side of the X Elite for a little more battery consumption. But even then, the laptop has managed to get through full days of work without me having range anxiety. A healthy mix of answering emails, writing scripts, and watching some YouTube during my breaks got me down to 60% battery life after I decided to call it a workday after over 6 hours of that work. ASUS puts a lot of effort into its software offerings to alleviate that battery consumption further, with features like display standby when the camera and sensors don't detect me anymore. By the way, that camera is a pretty standard unit that works well enough for its main purposes, meetings and catch-ups. Its use for Windows Hello logins and AI-powered user detection adds plenty of points though, not to mention the suite of Windows Studio video calling enhancements like blurred backgrounds and smart framing. But with all the different programs and tasks I might be doing on here, whether they are ARM optimized or emulated, the fact that I can just close the lid when I'm done and be sure that the next day I will still have plenty of juice for a lot more work before having to finally plug in, all that's really impressive. And it makes this laptop a great companion for just about anyone looking for a reliable workhorse that is as easy to carry around as it is to use. All of the essentials are here, with enough power to handle extracurriculars if you do want to push this Snapdragon X Elite further. For someone like me, that would be, of course, video editing, maybe a little bit of gaming, both of which I have been able to enjoy with some measured expectations. I mean, the lack of a dedicated graphics card for more intensive games and workflows is the reason why, but that's no surprise when dealing with an ultra-light and affordable PC. Still getting some short-form videos quickly edited and playing simpler games like Balatro, a Mega Man X6 remake, and going as high as playing Sifu, these all got raised eyebrows from me. You can color me impressed because the more that light laptops like this can handle those experiences with ease while sipping power when I am actually working, well, that's all the better because I can just have fun doing both. Imagine then how easy it would be to recommend the more affordable Zenbook like this to people who aren't as extra as me. Commuters who need to go from cafe to subway to cafe again, answering emails and taking meetings. They now have a new EDC-worthy laptop with the capabilities to match. Writers, researchers, and students who are writing all the time will find the keyboard comfortable to type on for hours at a time, complete with the support of Copilot for quick searches and deeper insights when needed. That's the other reason why the Snapdragon X Elite on here is such a big deal. The NPU needs little power to run its 45 TOPS for all of the advanced AI capabilities. I know that the AI talk is all over the place right now, but I want to remind everyone that this level of generation and smart contextualization, let's say, is just the culmination of the years of dot connecting that we had to do ourselves. Search results are being put together in an easily digestible way via Copilot, rather than us having to parse pages and pages of search results ourselves. Subject recognition enhances the webcam's capabilities and makes the laptop display more contextual, turning off when I'm not there and coming back on when I return. And even the generative stuff can come in handy when you're trying to get that vision in your mind's eye to come to life. Sometimes that bit of inspiration comes and a bit of AI magic just makes up for the fact that I'm a horrible drawer or graphic designer. The point is, these are all abilities that are becoming more and more accessible, with notebooks like the Zenbook A14 leading the charge. The power-sipping, AI-toting, premium-feeling, minimalist-looking, easy-carrying, everyday-tackling laptop is lowering down in price, and it is possible thanks to the combination of the Snapdragon X processors and the hardware expertise that ASUS is bringing to the table. You know, it really doesn't take a whole lot to see how the Zenbook A14 could be a turning point for ARM-based Windows notebooks and maybe even notebooks in general, and it's a great way for both ASUS and Snapdragon to really hit the ground running in this new year by making themselves easier than ever to experience and even potentially choose as a daily computing companion. And it's one that has arguably more Zen inside and out than ever before. Thanks again to ASUS for letting me try out the Zenbook A14 and for sponsoring this video. Look forward to more from ASUS and from CES 2025 by subscribing to my channel, and then let me know your thoughts on this new light and affordable Zenbook by hitting the like button and by sounding off in the comments downstairs. From there though, I'm going to go ahead and call it on this one. Thank you so much for hanging out with me again today. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and enjoy your tea, everybody.